Hello children, I hope that you are all doing fine. I welcome you all to our special English hour. Here we learn lots of new things, and while learning these things, we also have fun. Are you ready for some fun? Let's get started. Children, as you all know, we always start our day with something fun and interesting. So today I have a new tongue twister for you. Are you ready for the tongue twister? The tongue twister is thin stick, thick bricks. I will repeat, thin stick, thick bricks. Sounds easy? This is a very small tongue twister and I'm sure that you all can say it faster. So now let's try saying this tongue twister faster. Thin sticks, thick bricks. Thin sticks, thick bricks. Thin bricks. Oops! I was not able to say it faster. Were you? If you were, try saying this faster at least 5 times. Children, do you like stories? Some of you must be reading books and some of you might not be. That's all right. But it is very important for us to read. And I'm not talking about our textbooks. I am talking about stories or novels. You can even read comics. Reading is very important for all of us. Apart from increasing our vocabulary, reading teaches us many things. We might stay in a different country, but if we read a book which talks about culture of another country, we learn about that, and that is very difficult for us. So which is why reading gives us exposure. Imagine कीजिए कि आप इंडिया में रहते हैं और अगर आप विदेश के ऑथर की कोई कहानी पढ़ेंगे तो आपको उस देश के बारे में या उसके कल्चर के बारे में और जानकारी मिलती है। इसीलिए अगर हम बुक्स रीड करते हैं तो हमें बाहर की दुनिया के तरफ एक्सपोजर मिलता है, which is why reading is very important. Apart from this, it also helps in developing our language. We have learned that there are different types of books and everyone has their own preference. हमने ये पढ़ा था कि अलग-अलग प्रकार की कहानियां होती है और हर किसी की अलग-अलग टाइप ऑफ कहानी फेवरेट होती है, right? So now today we will be reading about a book review. That is the lesson of today. Have you heard of a book review? क्या आपको पता है बुक रिव्यू क्या होता है? बुक रिव्यू में हमें एक कहानी का जिस्ट मिलता है. When we read a book review, we come to know of the gist of the story. It doesn't reveal everything about the story, but it tells us something that is intriguing or interesting. बुक रिव्यू में हमें कहानी का सारांश मिलता है और उसके साथ कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग चीजें पता चलती है। The one who writes a book review writes it in such a way where you feel like you should read this book. जब कोई बुक रिव्यू लिखता है तो उसे इस तरीके से लिखा जाता है कि आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि मुझे ये कहानी पढ़नी ही है। So now we will be reading a book review. This book review is about an environmentalist. Let's find out what happens in this story. Now let's read a lesson from our textbook. And for that, please open page number 97 of your textbook. This is a book review of the book George's Secret Key to the Universe. Now, I request you to point at the words as I will be reading this lesson. And if you don't have a textbook, listen to me carefully. मैं अभी ये लेसन आपको पढ़ के दिखाऊंगी और मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप भी अपने टेक्स्ट बुक में पॉइंट करें और अगर आपके पास टेक्स्ट बुक ना हो तो आप मुझे ध्यान से सुनिए। George's dad is an ardent environmentalist. In fact, both his parents are convinced that modern inventions of science and technology have caused a lot of damage on the earth. They are committed to the cause of saving the planet. They use a bicycle instead of a car. There is a ban on TV and computers in their house. They don't buy things like bread and biscuits. They eat only vegetarian and home-cooked food. They even use candles to light the house to avoid using electricity. Poor George has to suffer a lot of jeering and ridicule from his friends because of all this. This story is about George and his parents. George's father was an ardent environmentalist. Have you heard of these two words, ardent and environmentalist? Yes, these were the two new words that we learned today. Can you guess what ardent means? Ardent means deeply believing in something or having a liking towards something. And now, can you guess what is an environmentalist? An environmentalist is someone who wants to protect the environment, and for that they play their part. So here, George's father was an environmentalist. But it was not just George's father. Both his parents strongly believed that the new technology has destroyed our planet, which is why George's family lived a different kind of lifestyle. They did not have a car. They always rode a bicycle. They would only eat vegetarian food, and they did not even have electricity in their homes. Can you imagine a life without electricity? We just cannot. We are surrounded by electricity. Whatever work we want to get done, it requires electricity, right? And George used to face exact same dilemma, which is why he was made fun of in his school. जॉर्ज और उसके पेरेंट्स की ये कहानी है। जॉर्ज के पेरेंट्स एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट थे और इसलिए वो एक अलग तरीके से जीते थे। उनके घर में बिजली नहीं थी, वो वेजिटेरियन खाना खाते थे उन्हें कहीं भी जाना हो वो बाइसिकल से जाते थे। लेकिन जॉर्ज थोड़ा अलग था। वो इन चीजों में नहीं मानता था, लेकिन क्योंकि वो अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ रहता था, उसे भी ऐसी लाइफस्टाइल जीनी पड़ती थी। लेकिन उसके दोस्त उसे इस बात को लेके बहुत सताते थे और उसका मजाक उड़ाते थे। Actually, George doesn't think that either the TV or the computer is a bad thing. He has tried to tell his parents that it's possible to save the earth using the computers and the internet. But no, in their house, there can't be any discussion on that issue. George always likes to know why. But who is to answer his questions? His parents think that he is still too young to understand global issues. Children, has it ever happened to you that you are discussing something with your parents and you both have different point of views? What happens then? Most of the time, the discussion or the argument ends with you don't know what is right or wrong because you are too young. Has it ever happened to you? कई बार जब हम हमारे माँ बाप से किसी भी चीज के बारे में बात कर रहे होते हैं, तो ऐसा होता है कि शायद आपके माँ बाप आपसे कह दे कि तुम बहुत छोटे हो, तुम नहीं समझोगे। ये हम सबके साथ हुआ है। And the same thing was happening with George. George did not think that TV or internet is bad for the environment, and he tried telling this to his parents, but they never listened to him. They thought that he is too young to understand global issues. Have we heard the word global? Yes, it was one of the new words that we learned today. What does global mean? Global means all over the world. जैसा हमने इस पैराग्राफ में देखा, जैसा हमारे साथ होता है, वैसे ही जॉर्ज के साथ हो रहा था। जॉर्ज के माँ बाप उसे ये कहते थे कि वो अभी छोटा है और वो ये सारी चीजें नहीं समझेगा। One day, however, George unexpectedly acquires a new friend and next door neighbor, Annie. Annie's father, Eric, is a brilliant scientist and ever willing to answer all of George's questions. Eric has built a super intelligent computer named Cosmos. Cosmos has incredible powers. It can literally open windows on the universe and take you to any planet, star, comet, and even to a black hole. And of course, Cosmos can also bring you back from there. However, Cosmos depends entirely on the information that is fed into it by people like Eric, who do the research and thinking that can make Cosmos work. George makes a new friend by the name of Annie. Annie's father is a scientist and he is always ready to answer George's questions. Annie's father has also built a supercomputer and the name of this computer is Cosmos. George एक दोस्त बनाता है जिसका नाम होता है एनी। एनी के पिताजी एक साइंटिस्ट होते हैं और उन्होंने एक कॉस्मोस नाम का सुपर कंप्यूटर बनाया होता है। This supercomputer is very, very, very intelligent. It can travel to stars, galaxies, and even the black hole. And it can also bring you back from there. ये जो सुपर कंप्यूटर होता है, इसकी मदद से हम पूरे स्पेस में ट्रैवल कर सकते हैं। ये हमें कई जगहों पे ले जा सकता है और वहां से वापस भी ला सकता है। But there is a problem. Now I have a question for you. What happens when you try to save any file on a computer? जब आप कंप्यूटर पे कोई भी फाइल सेव करने जाते हो तो क्या होता है? Obviously, the file gets saved. But does the computer do it by itself? No. We have to tell the computer to save it. First, we have to create the file in the computer and then save in the computer. हमें अगर कोई फाइल कंप्यूटर में सेव करनी होती है तो हमें पहले फाइल बनानी पड़ती है और कंप्यूटर को बताना पड़ता है कि ये फाइल सेव करे, right? The exact same way, Cosmos also had to be fed information. And this information was fed by Eric, who was Annie's father. Science can be used for a good cause, and a group of good scientists like Eric have vowed to use it for people's welfare. Unfortunately, there is one odd, angry scientist who wants to use science for his own selfish motives. He is planning to steal Cosmos and all of Eric's research so that he can establish his own rule on another planet. It so happens that only George can do something to overcome the wicked plans of the nasty scientist. If you want to know what adventures he undertakes and what strategies he has to use to stop the power-hungry scientist, you have to read the novel George's Secret Key to the Universe. Now, not all scientists are good. Scientists like Eric are very good people who want to make the use of science and technology to help people. But there are also evil scientists, just like one in this story. This evil scientist wants to steal all the research that Eric has done. Along with it, he also wants to steal the cosmos and capture another planet and later rule it. But turns out that George is the only one who can defeat this scientist. A Secret Key to the Universe is the story of adventure, an adventure of George. Will he be able to defeat the evil scientist? We will have to read the story to find out. सारे साइंटिस्ट अच्छे नहीं होते। एरिक जैसे साइंटिस्ट ये चाहते हैं कि वो साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी के जरिए लोगों की मदद कर पाए, लेकिन इसके साथ साथ कई बुरे साइंटिस्ट भी होते हैं। उनके इरादे बुरे होते हैं और वो दुनिया की तबाही देखना चाहते हैं। ऐसा ही एक साइंटिस्ट इस कहानी में भी है जो एरिक का रिसर्च चुराना चाहता है और कॉस्मोस को लेके एक दूसरे प्लैनेट पे कब्जा करना चाहता है, लेकिन जॉर्ज ही है जो ये होने से रुका सकता है। तो हमें जानने के लिए आगे क्या होता है, सीक्रेट की टू द यूनिवर्स ये बुक पढ़नी होगी। The author of this wonderful adventure is Lucy Hawking. The story of the novel is imaginary, but it also includes plenty of charts, photographs, boxes that give you hard facts about our solar system, galaxies, space, and the whole universe. This information has been presented in a very simple, easy to understand manner by none other than Stephen Hawking, who is said to be one of the greatest scientists of our times. His achievements are all the more astounding as he is a victim of many physical ailments. He has to use a wheelchair to move about and uses a computerized voice system in order to speak. The story of Stephen Hawking's triumph over his physical disabilities is itself an inspiring adventure. This story is written by Lucy Hawkins. She is the daughter of Stephen Hawking. Have you heard of Stephen Hawking? He is considered to be one of the greatest scientists of this century. His achievements are even more commendable because he had a disease, because of which he could not move. So to move, he used a wheelchair. Because of his disease, he could not even speak, and for that he used his voice through a computer. But his brain was functional and his mind was so great that it kept on working until his last breath. His achievements in itself are adventurous. ये कहानी लूसी हॉकिंग्स ने लिखी है. लूसी हॉकिंग्स स्टीफन हॉकिंग ये जाने माने वैज्ञानिक की बेटी है. स्टीफन हॉकिंग्स ने यूनिवर्स और सोलर सिस्टम को इतने अच्छे तरीके से रिसर्च किया है और उनका ये काम कोई भी कभी नहीं भूल सकता. साइंटिफिक रिसर्च और थियोरी में जो उनका योगदान है ये हमारे लिए और पूरे समाज के लिए बहुत ही बड़ी बात है. The book includes very attractive and expressive sketches drawn by Gary Parsons. It is true that excessive use of science and technology can give rise to certain problems. But turning away from technology is not the solution. That is why the Hawkings have given an important message in this book. More research, more studies, and a commitment to use them not for selfish gains but for the welfare of the entire living world. Everything has its positive and negative side, and this book is trying to give the exact same message. We cannot live without science, but we can also not misuse science. If we use science for the betterment of the society, then it can be the best thing that has ever happened to humanity. So children, this lesson was a book review of the book George's Secret Key to the Universe. We saw how George's journey starts when he meets Eric. We saw how his parents were against science and technology, and Eric used to answer all the queries that George had. This book review also told us about the evil plans of the scientists. So through this lesson, we learned what a book review looks like. We got a gist of the story, as I had told you. We also got what happens in the story, and the way it has been written, it intrigues you. It makes you interested to read the book. When I read this lesson to you, didn't you feel like grabbing the book and reading it? Yes. So that is what a book review is. Apart from this, we also got information about the writer, about who has written it, and also about the illustrator who has created the drawings in this book. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and you learned something new. For homework, I request you to write the name of your favorite book and why you like this book. On that note, I will take your leave. I will see you all in our next session. Until then, take care and stay safe. Bye bye.